Hello and welcome to the Sawtill Show. This is the first of a series of shows we're going to do about the making of a sawtill. I just finished up a series of shows about the tool chest, and now it's on to a sawtill for storing my hand saws. Sawtill is a rack or a shelf or a cabinet for storing your saws. And my storage system for my saws is just not working out all that well. I've been trying to use peg rails and so forth, and as I collect more and more hand saws, my collection is getting kind of disorganized. So for the past couple years I've been looking at designs to come up with something that'll work here in the shop, and I've got one that I want to show you. Here it is here, cardboard mock-up, and you can see how it works here. It's going to have a shelf. It goes like this, and then the saws will rest on this board, and there'll be a rail that goes across the middle here that'll have kerfs on it, and the saw plates will fit inside those kerfs, and they'll be lined up accordingly. There's also going to be a rail that goes across here with kerfs in it as well for longer saws. You'll notice that the top is open, and the top is open so that if I get any longer saws, they'll be able to extend right out the top. What else? There will be 3 drawers along the bottom here for saw accessories. And yes, dovetails will be involved in the construction of this project, as well as mortises and tenons. So that's the design. I was going to use maple in the construction of this because that's what I used with my cabinets over here, and I thought it would be nice to stain them the same way and have a sawtill that matched. But I came across this neat stuff I want to show you. It's a new kind of wood for me. It's been around for a while. It's called Monterey Pine or radiata pine, and I saw it in my local big box store, and it's neat stuff. It comes as wide as 11 1/4, big long lengths. As you can see here, it's knot free. It's no knots in it. It's real clear stuff, and it seems pretty darn stable. So I'm anxious to use it. I did some research on this and found out it's native to California, and now it's cultivated all over the world. I think it's the most cultivated species of sustainable pine in the world. They've got huge forests of it in New Zealand and elsewhere, and that's where this wood is from. It's from New Zealand. But it's easily found in most big box stores, so I'm going to try it out and see how it works for us. So that's that. Now, whenever I come up with a design, I draw it out, but I found that if I make a mock-up like this, it helps me get a sense of the scale and also gives me some new ideas. So this is no exception. I did get some ideas of things that I wanted to do a little bit differently from this mock-up design. I want to add some curves to my work. I'm looking for ways to put curves into my designs. It's outside of my comfort zone, actually, and I'm not really sure how curves exactly work. A nicely done curve is a thing of beauty. But curves can get wildly out of control rather quickly, and they become, in my opinion, rather grotesque. So where do you draw the line? How do you draw a nice curve and find that beautiful look and not have it get out of control for you? So anyway, I'm trying to get into that, and I looked around the internet and I saw a design by a guy named Phil Herz. He has a blog called Blended Woodworking, and he did something that I thought was so neat that I'm just going to copy it. I really like what he did in his design, and let me show you what that is. Look at that. It's got a beautiful curve, and it reverses. This is a convex curve here, transitions to a concave curve there, and right at the transition point is a little relief point, a little notch. Maybe architects can tell me what that's called. But it's a really neat design. So I'm going to do the same thing. phallic symbolism and snickering aside, I think this is a really neat design. So the challenge becomes, how do I lay this out? How do I draw it? So let's go along with that. I noticed when I was looking at this that it's actually two ellipses. One is right here, goes all the way around like this, and this ellipse goes all the way around like that. So this is 1/4 of an ellipse, and this is 1/4 of an ellipse. If I can draw an ellipse, I'm on to something. So let's draw an ellipse. This is one way to do it. Some people use computer programs and print things out. I'm going to use 2 push pins and a length of string to do the same thing. So let's draw an ellipse. You take 2 push pins and your length of string, like that. And you take your marker and you pull this taut. And then you simply go around like that. Very simple. Aha. But now, how do we draw a measured ellipse of exactly the proportion that we want and exactly the right dimension that we need? Well, that's easy too. It involves a simple formula, and in this case, my ellipse has to be, the radius of the long length has to be 9 inches, and the narrow radius 3 3/4 inches. So, if I take the 9-inch dimension and square that number, and I take this narrow dimension, 3 3/4 inches, and square that number, and subtract the smaller number from the larger number, and then I take the square root of that number, what I wind up with is, in this case, it comes out to be 8 3/16 of an inch. A lot of math, I know, hang in there. Think about it, it's not that hard. A kid in grammar school could do that with a calculator. So, anyway, that turns out to be 8 3/16 of an inch. So now, are you with me here? Are you still with me? What we're going to do, if I can find my push pins, here we are. 8 3/16 is right here and right here. And these are my layout lines for the ellipse. So I'm going to put one here, like that. And one here at my other 8 3/16 line. And now I take a loop which I have made ahead of time. I'll admit to you that it was a little bit fussy getting that length just right, but here it is. And all I need to do is draw 1/4 of that ellipse. So let's get it started here. See how I do. Aha. Now, that's 1/4 of the ellipse. So, this is the piece that I need. What I've done is I've made a perfect elliptical curve with a string and 2 tacks. And that, to me, is really neat because it opens up a whole new world of design with my work. You can see that fits in there pretty good. So that's really cool. I mean, that's huge to me. And I think it'll be useful to anybody that needs to draw curves in their designs. So, I'm trying to think, have I forgotten anything? I think we have it all. What I've done here, let me just show you before we leave. I've already laid out with a mechanical pencil the same design on my piece of pine. Now, the challenge is, I'm told you can't see that, but take my word for it, it's there. And in our next show, what I'm going to do is cut this out. I'm not sure what I'm going to use yet. Maybe a bandsaw, maybe a jigsaw, something like that. I'm afraid sandpaper may be involved. But anyway, we're going to cut that out. You'll find out how we do that in the next show. And that's it for show number 1. Thanks for stopping by, and hope to see you for show number 2.